you've shown the podcast that we did last week to a few people. What was the reaction? Were you happy with last week's?
Yeah, on the whole, I thought it was a good first attempt, although in reality, it wasn't our first attempt, but
no,
it's probably our first attempt in about 2 years.
Yeah. But this is like, I was telling you last week, that this feels like we've got more of a structure and an actual like thing going for it. I was just about to say, the only problem with last week is that I rambled a little too much, just because you feel like you have to say things all the time.
Yeah.
And our analysis of like Tenet was just
yes, good film.
If you're looking for a film review, don't look at that.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I remember when we attempted some podcasts a few years ago, we were sort of dabbling our toes, weren't we? And do you remember when we were doing it, we were like being really sneaky about doing it and like not wanting anyone to know. And then there was one day where we were like delaying it, and then eventually we just went home and didn't do it. But yeah, we weren't putting them out either. We were sort of doing dry runs, and just not having the balls to just put it out. Whereas this, we've just gone, let's just put it out. Even if it doesn't matter.
No, but also like every other time we've done it, we've gone, let's do a film podcast and we talk about films. But I just felt like, but you could just talk about films to anyone, and you don't have to have a podcast like our one to justify that. But this time, it's like about actually being creative. And making films is a passion of ours. And I think this is what it's about. It's talking about creativity and doing things on a low budget. Doesn't matter.
The beauty of it is we had a catch up and talked about doing a podcast, but from that catch up, the creative juices just started bubbling again, which is where the idea for let's make a little short video every time we do this and show it to each other. So the podcast, the elements of it have kind of built themselves from us just chatting about it.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I don't know about you, but I've had a lot of fun shooting, acting, and editing these little short films.
Oh my god!
It's thinking on your feet. I even used a tripod this time.
Oh, see, I need to get one for the phone.
Oh man, yeah. I don't want to give too much away, but I
can't wait to watch after last week's one. Like you said, it was just so fun, and it's the first time I've been able to do something that, like, it's really stupid. This week, it's something really stupid, but I find it so funny.
Yeah.
I've showed it to a few people, and their reactions have been like a mix of joy and what the hell have you just done?
So did you show last week's videos to anyone?
Yeah, a few people. I think that some were like, you need to get a job. Like,
I sent my coffee one to my brother-in-law, and all he put back was, "Are you okay?" But then I sent it to my friend, a different friend, and the next day he messaged me a picture of some coffee and said I'd inspired him to go get some coffee. So literally, we're changing the world, man. We're changing the world.
Yeah, but I sent your video to someone, and they were like, "Oh my god, I really need to go get some coffee now." So you've had a lot. You've done well for the coffee business.
Subliminal messaging.
So yeah, struggling.
Nescafe or anyone wants to sponsor this podcast, get in touch. Exactly. But yeah, so that first video, I did it so basically. I just used the template on the iPhone. If anyone wants to know how to make these videos, then get in touch. And it was literally just fed to me on a plate. Do a shot, put it here, shot, and I didn't have to do any editing. Whereas this one, I still used my phone to film because it was easier. I did use a tripod. I did think a bit about setting up shots and how it would move into the next shot. But I edited it on Premiere Pro on my laptop. I got loads of sound effects. I used use visual effects. So I feel like I've taken it to the next level.
Right. So from last week's one, okay, because you're going to talk about yours now, and I think you should just show yours after you talk about it. Like, give it a little intro and say the thought process, how you got to making this week's one.
So I can't remember what day it was, but there was a storm, the sort of start of a storm that started to hit where I live, and I was looking out the window and it was really blustery and the trees were literally shaking, and eventually a tree broke off, which I saw. I was like, oh, that's cool, I might film that. So I just filmed the tree moving, which you'll see in a minute, and then it just kind of spiraled into an idea. I was like, okay, I'll do this, then I'll do this.
Yeah.
And then I played around with something. I wanted to see if I could do some filming technique, and then that led into something. So the story kind of built itself just on the fly.
That's great though, because it's like being open to like inspiration and taking it step by step. That's sometimes the most fun, because if you try and come up with an idea, it's like sometimes it can go a bit wayward.
So I'd say this film is best watched with the volume up and the lights off.
Oh.
So if you want to prepare yourself.
Yes.
I'll do the same.
Right, because you said that, I'm going to plug you in with my headphones.
Okay.
Okay, utmost respect, Tony. And I'm going to go into this room.
So this doesn't have a name. There's no name. It's a short film. There could be sequels. I don't know yet.
Okay.
Yeah, let me know when you're ready, and I'll hit play.
Okay, I'm ready.
What do you think?
Wow, I am extremely impressed by that. That was brilliant, man.
It's sort of a horror.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know where to start. That was like so well done, really well shot. I love how it just creeps up, because you just start thinking when he's by his computer, the trees are going, maybe he's just a bit, I don't know, lost or something. But then the cat, man, that made me laugh so much.
Yeah, so
that was so funny.
The cat came from not even thinking about this. I was just filming it, and then I thought, oh, I could put that in, so I see it, and then this happens, and then the laughing and stuff. I thought that was quite funny.
Yeah, it was, and the sound effects are really good.
Yeah.
And what was and you had the kind of like CCTV thing, so like someone's watching you element, like you're in some sort of a, I don't know, asylum. It was really good.
Yeah. But yeah, there's potential for sequels.
How did you? So there isn't just potential. There has to be a sequel to that. How would you do? Not, maybe you don't want to explain what the cat's motive is, but would you say it has a motive, or would you say that it's just an evil entity?
So At first, I wanted it to be like there was aliens, and then I thought, well, why can't the cat be the alien? Why can't the cat be the symbol of taking over the human mind?
Yeah. Well, that was outstanding and a big jump up from last week.
The pressure's on now to keep delivering.
I know.
Take your headphones
Would
out
you
now.
say that? Would you? Oh, sorry. Would you say that there's any link between your first film, the coffee film, and this film?
Yeah, I think maybe the coffee section. Well, this film leads directly after the coffee, so maybe he's had the coffee and then he's hallucinating, and the cat, he hears whispers. And do you want to know my favorite shot in that film?
Please.
It's the CCTV bit where you just see the cat running briefly.
Yeah.
With the. I was
how did you build the sound effects and things? Did you just?
I just found sound effects. I'd like to say I recorded them all myself, but I just found them.
That's great. Horror. And did you feel? Go on.
As I say, horror is probably the easiest sort of genre to find sound effects because there's just so many of them, isn't there?
Yeah, but it was just really good, man. Did you feel like you learned anything while doing it?
Oh, for sure, yeah. I definitely felt like I was being creative, which was the whole point of it, I guess.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I do want to. I would like to shoot a horror, an actual short horror film.
Okay, then. Well, look, I think that while we do this, we're in October. It's the month of horror.
Oh.
You've done a horror, but I still think we should maybe,
Halloween
in line with Halloween, we make a horror week where we make horror films.
Yeah, well, we've got a few weeks. But yeah, that sounds ideal. Moving into your film, why don't you give us a little preview?
Right, so with mine, there's definitely a link between last week's and this week's. I think it's a little bit about what's going on now with everything. And do you know what? Just play the damn film. Hey buddy, what you doing?
Just chilling, watching the TV.
You seem a bit sad.
Yeah, I guess I'm just a bit, I don't know. Guess I'm just a bit lonely.
What, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, come sit. Thanks. So tell me, what's going on? I don't know, I just feel we've not really spent that much time together. During this lockdown, I thought that we'd, I don't know, have a bit more quality time, but you're always upstairs and I don't know, I just feel a bit forgotten, you know? Look, I know, it's been really tough, but I just wanted to give you space. We're so crammed up in this spot that we both need time apart sometimes. You know that. No, I know. Hey, you've got something on your face.
Stop it.
You're my best friend. I love you, man.
Honestly, The last 20 seconds of that, I was dying. That is genius. Absolute genius.
Yeah, I there was a couple of things I needed in it. I needed the I really wanted to do like a shit sitcom with kind of some bad cuts in it.
Yeah.
And I really needed to use the hand because I love that hand. I use it.
Yeah, well, as soon as I saw that, I was like, yes, yes. It's so good.
And then I wanted that A to creep up at the end, which is the link.
Yeah. It's so good, that end bit. I did not see that coming at all, honestly. That was genius.
Yeah, and I've shown that to one group of friends, and it's a couple. One of them was like, "Oh, that's hilarious." The other was just like, "What is wrong with you? Like, that is so weird that you've done that."
Do you want to know? So whilst I was watching it, as soon as the second you came in, I started laughing. But then I was like, "Wait a minute! Like, should I be laughing? Is this a comedy, or is it like some sort of serious insight into the human mind during lockdown kind of thing?" Like, and then I was looking deeper as, is this a representation of a relationship, or is it a representation of himself, where sometimes his mind's got to go upstairs and they've got to have a bit of separate time?
As silly as the film is, there is a little bit of that.
Yeah. That honestly,
because when you are by yourself, I mean, I'm here with lockdown with my girlfriend, and that's, but it's been fine. But it's like, if you sometimes when you are by yourself, your mind does wander a bit,
yeah,
in a weird way, and I think that happens to me quite a bit. And but to be honest, more than anything, it's just meant to be really silly. So
just talk me through how you shot it. Did you shoot it chronologically, so you kept getting changed, or did you do all the shots of one person first and then vice versa?
Yeah, I did all the shots of one person first, and then I didn't know what I didn't write out a script or anything. I was just like, what would I say? And I was imagining what the other one would say. I think I did the stairs first.
Yeah.
And then I just, as a test, just to see, would this work? Would this work quite well, nicely? And then I don't remember what the guy upstairs said when I sat here, but it worked.
It's amazing what you can produce without planning, without a script, without any help. It's ridiculous. Like that, honestly, one of my favorite films of the year. That honestly was so good. It kind of reminded me a little bit of that Paul Rudd series, Living with Yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
I would pay to stream you make a series of that. Like just a couple minutes.
You know, similar to yourself, there may be sequels.
Like in my mind, I would love it if you just keep it going. Every film you make just goes back to the A. That would just be hilarious. Like you could be in India doing something, and then they see it on a market stall or something.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's kind of, I do have to sneak it in everywhere now, that A.
So the process of making that, did it take you a lot longer, editing, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it definitely took a lot longer. I'm using Premiere Rush, which is Premiere Pro, but for the phone. Mm-hmm. And obviously it's a lot longer than last week's clip, and it's a lot more complicated. Mm-hmm. It's not the easiest to edit on the phone, but it was, if you're just chopping up shots, it's actually it's okay. And the music is just stock footage that's on the actual
it's so good
software.
So good.
But it was just, you know what was actually the most fun, the best thing about it is that the day I filmed it, my girlfriend's parents were coming over. I had so much to do. I had to clean everything. I had to shop. I had to do a lot of things, but for some reason, in the middle of it all, and I didn't have much time, I went, I'm going to do this short film right now, and it didn't take me long to film. Didn't take me that long to edit, but it was when I did it, I was in the best mood because it was just like I had that release.
So you've got loads to do, and then suddenly, did you just think, "I've got an idea," or you were? What happened? When did the idea come to you to do?
Well, I was tidying up the here. So this is where it was filmed, and I saw the hand because I bring it out every time someone comes over, like just to freak them out, and I thought, I'd love to do a thing where I'm with myself, but I reach over and then the fake hand touches the other person.
Yeah.
And so then it just became. I also was feeling. So the guy here with the green top with the hair down. That was how I was feeling that day. Like a lot. I had to do a lot of things, but I felt lazy and a bit down. And I was telling myself, right, come on, you gotta get it going and stuff. So, in a way, the guy on the stairs was in my head, but I was the guy on the sofa feeling a bit down and bummed out. So
yeah, well, so you saw the hand, and I saw the storm on the tree, and then that's when the idea came from. It's crazy. And the week before was I was making a coffee. So inspiration comes from the smallest things.
And anywhere, at any time.
Anywhere. So how have you been feeling since making that? You've just been excited to show it and see mine.
Well, yeah. I was just. It's funny actually because usually I get really precious about doing something and assume people are going to hate things. But in the process of us doing this, I'm in this kind of state of like, I don't care if you don't really like it. It's just a bit of fun, isn't it?
This is the beauty.
So, yeah. And so I've just been really excited to show you. I've been really excited to show you that one.
Well, the excitement of seeing each other's is kind of pushes me to do mine. And
yeah.
And like you say, it doesn't matter if it's not any good because some of that is the point. Obviously, if you pull out something really good, great. But if it's shit, even better, because there's nothing better than watching your old films you did at school, college, university, whatever, and seeing how bad they are.
Yeah. Oh my God, definitely. I mean, that is the best. Some of the best thing we've shown each other our videos from uni or school or whatever, and you can just get so much of a kick out of it.
Yeah, and when you're watching it, you're almost like, oh, I'd do that differently. I'd change that.
Yeah.
So, well, that kind of brings me on to what we've slightly discussed a bit before, is where this could eventually go to. So obviously we're pushing ourselves to make a little video before each podcast and show it. But I'd like it to eventually be where we host a virtual film festival where everyone that wants to take part does the same thing and we all watch them together.
100%.
And I mean, we know people that would probably take part, but anyone that we don't know that wants inspiration down the line to do anything, then for sure we could do that as well.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it though, isn't it? I think we've both benefited a lot only from 2 weeks of doing this, of just just creating something.
Yeah.
And I can imagine people maybe doing this where they've never made a film in their lives. Like a lot of people say, I think that'll be way too hard, but we've shown that it's really kind of easy to do, and it doesn't matter what it's like. It's just the act of doing it. So it's really exciting to think of other people trying to join in doing this, like a big community of people just chucking in some films where it's low budget or zero budget and just creating something silly or fun or something that they're feeling at the time. So I'm really excited about that, and I think it's going to be really big actually.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll get to work on when and how we see that coming. But I mean, we're just going to keep, every time we do an episode, keep short films coming. Eventually, you're going to rock up with a 60-minute feature.
Well, yeah, that is easily where it could go.
Yeah.
Because when you're in this state of just like always thinking, what could I do a film about? Like you could pick up any object and go, I'm going to base it on this thing. When you're in that state of mind, like after we did last week's, I had a bunch of like you were the same. We've been talking, and it's just like, how many ideas have we had?
Yeah, creative.
You know, and that is what it's all about. Especially now, because I mean, it's kind of tough times.
Well, especially if you're at home on your own all the time, and without this, maybe you wouldn't have the motivation to pick up a camera and do what you do.
Yeah.
Which is make film.
Without this, I wouldn't have done that.
If you're making a film every week, even if you are working, you're making a film every week outside of work, it keeps that kind of inspiration and passion going of this is what I enjoy about making films for myself.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think I feel a bit dead when I don't do anything creative. And sometimes you just go into complacency and you don't question it much. But then when we decide to do this, it's just like been really big.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's this concept is what we were missing when we tried to do podcasts before. We were maybe we listened to podcasts and we were maybe trying to sort of just talk about everything, about anything. Whereas this kind of gives us a lane of sort of something that we're both really passionate about.
Yeah, and it's funny actually because it reminds me of the time that we've done similar things before, but without a podcast. Like we've been, when we worked together, there were 2 times where we were particularly down because we weren't doing anything creative. And one weekend we said, right, we're going to do a short film, and that ended up being Noted, which is really fun to make and do.
Which we'll show on here. We'll put the link to Noted in the description actually.
Yeah. Check that out, because that was a time where we were all feeling kind of just we needed to have a creative outlet somehow, so we did it for ourselves, and that was really fun. And then the other time was we tried to do a like a reality TV thing in our work, which it was just for a bit of fun, and a lot of people are upset about it because of where we were working. And everybody in work watched it, and we had a bit of flack for it. But
what does it mean?
Exactly. What do you do? Oh my gosh.
Doesn't mean anything.
No, it's just a bit of fun. So sometimes it's good to do things outside of work, and this is kind of an opportunity to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm already like trying to force myself to think of ideas for the next one, but I don't think I can do that. It's just got to come naturally.
Yeah, 100%.
Have you already sort of decided what you're going to do, or?
No, because it's worked for me so far in terms of not planning it. So it's like, it's all about just picking up a camera and going, let's try this out and see where it goes.
Yeah.
And it often ends up being the final product. So I'm not even gonna think about planning it yet.
And like we were saying, we're both using mobile phones at the moment doing this. You're editing on your phone. There's plenty of free editing software. There's free royalty music. There's free sound effects. There's free graphics. It's literally all out there. So if you are thinking that, oh, I can't do that because I don't have an expensive camera, I can't afford Premiere Pro, blah, 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 I haven't got a laptop, then don't let that stop you, because most people have a smartphone which can film. And if you want to get into filmmaking, then use a smartphone until you do have access to cameras, because it's all on there. It's all inbuilt in there, and you can, as we're shown, make something semi-watchable.
Yeah. That is such a great point. Yeah. That there's all of the tools available to make something, and it doesn't have to be funny. Like we've done some kind of like silly, funny short films so far, but it doesn't have to be funny. It can be anything.
Eventually we might get actors in to help us shoot these. At the moment, I mean, obviously with COVID and that's a bit hard to do that, but I have just kind of been enjoying setting up the camera.
Hang on, sorry. What are you talking about? You've used your cat?
Yeah, true.
That's an actor.
At a social distance. No, I've been enjoying setting up the shot. So to set it up, I've had to film it, look at it to see if I would fit in the frame, and then go back and shoot it myself. It's been quite fun doing that.
It is, isn't it? It's really fun. Yeah. I was really impressed with your the angles that you had, and the tripod makes a hell of a. So what did you film that on your phone?
Yeah, on my iPhone. Yeah.
Wow,
That's
great.
Yeah, and you're using a phone as well, aren't you? So
yeah.
So yeah, the first day of the rest of your life. But yeah, no,
that's
really,
that's a good place to start with, actually.
The best thing that I can take from this is you don't always have to plan. It's the same with this podcast. We don't have a set day where it comes out. We're going to try week. If it's every 2 weekly, then so be it. But the main thing is not feeling pressured to do something.
Exactly.
So, and I find if there is pressure, if we were like, it's got to be ready by 6 p.m. on this day, then I'd feel like there'd be a bit more pressure, one, to make the film that you're not maybe into. So when it's a bit more relaxed, I feel like that's when the best creative comes out.
Yeah, 100%. Although, having said that, last week, I knew we were doing a podcast and I hadn't done a film yet. Yeah. And I just did it because of the pressure. So pressure can work. I don't know. I think I'm someone who likes a bit of pressure in terms of time frames. But, and even this one, even though we didn't know when we were going to do it or show it to each other, I did feel an obligation to you to make something kind of funny or good.
Yeah. Well, because we'd both got our films ready, and then obviously I let you down on one of the days, and then you had to let me down. Yeah. So then it was kind of anticipation, like, oh, come on, I just want to see the video.
Yeah, it was. It's Matt. It's been so fun, and I can't wait. I literally can't wait till next week now.
So, have you told many people about this podcast or these video challenges that we've been doing? What's the reaction kind of been?
I think I've told everyone about it, but I haven't really shared it out too much yet. I think I will do that. I need to do that more.
Yeah, I'm not sort of going to force it down people's throats. I'm just going to.
That's it.
It's more for us, isn't it? That at the end of the day, it's for us, and if people like it and want to get involved, great. But if not, so be it.
Exactly. I think that we will be posting our videos individually as well on the same YouTube channel, so that people can see them without having, without them being in the long video.
Good idea. Yeah.
So we'll post those up, and then people can see the continuation of the quality or lack thereof as the weeks go by.
Good idea. Yeah, because we could have the podcast up, and then the 2 videos, then the next podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that.
So, well, I mean, I guess that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just to wrap things up, since last week, how's things been? How have you been?
Yeah, actually, it's been. I felt that the first podcast we did, put me in this real creative place, and then I went and shot a short film with a mutual friend of ours, who's gonna be a guest on a podcast next week to show some of the footage from the short film that we did.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just amazing to shoot something again. And then it's even nice then, because it was quite a nice setup, really, really well shot and edited, and sound quality was fantastic. So it's nice to go from something like that to do something on your phone. You know what I mean? So I felt like all round it's been a good creative week. There's been ups and downs, when you've got so much time in your hands, it can be either really great or kind of not much going on, but you've got to allow yourself that time. And I was meant to start with Amazon this week, but then I postponed it because I felt 1 week off wasn't ideal. I needed an extra one, so next week is when I start there. So you may hear a very different version of me next week. I'm very tired and jaded.
Fully on brand. Well, the A I can see behind you will have a whole different meaning.
Oh my God, it is there as well in the light.
So do you know how, are you going to be working a lot, or is it sort of you can choose your hours, or how is it going to be? Do you know?
It's Wednesdays to Saturday. Sorry, Wednesdays to Saturdays.
Yeah.
So that'll be 9 till like 5:30 or something. So that's not bad.
Yeah. And are you going in with a sort of idea of what to expect, or what you want to get from it, kind of thing?
Well, what's the most exciting thing about it is that I've got a friend that I spoke to yesterday about. She works for Amazon. And I said, what can I expect from it? And she was like, you're going to meet a lot of different kinds of people.
Yeah.
People who have been made redundant from their jobs due to what's been going on. Some people have been working there for years. Some people are really young. Some people are really old. Some people from all walks of life. And that really excited me.
Yeah.
Because, it's hearing about how people live their lives. I think that's...
Yeah. That's the thing. If you look at it where you're going to meet all these people and hear all these different stories, backgrounds, you're going to learn a hell of a lot about not just them, but yourself as well.
Yeah. And it's... I think if I can predict how I'll feel afterwards, I don't know how long I'm going to be there for, but I think I'll probably appreciate the work or what I like to do, which is to film and act and edit and all those things. More so after doing something like this, because it's nothing like that. So
imagine
the
if
need to be creative will be even stronger after doing something like that.
That's what I was going to say. Imagine if you meet someone that has similar interests and has maybe not filmed anything in years, or has been scared to film something, and then you speak to them and then they decide, actually, yeah, I'm gonna start filming stuff again, or taking pictures, or start writing. That would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Oh my God, definitely. And that's the thing as well. It's not something that you need to spend. I think you don't need to spend that much money on being creative anyway, or fulfilling that within you. Because if you like to draw, if you like to write, you don't need to have like loads of money to do that. So, and some people, use that as an excuse not to be creative, as in, I need this and this to do this. But you don't need to do any of that. You don't need to have that much money. We've proven that with doing our films on our phones, for God's sake. So,
well, and if you do inspire anyone, all you have to do is once you've had your talk with them, you just say, and that is the first day of the rest of your life. Thanks for watching.
Yes, I'm just going to say that all day.
Yeah. Okay, well, I mean, this has been an awesome experience, this episode. I hope there's many more to come.
Yeah, 100%.
Funny when you start talking. Thanks for watching.
Brilliant. Thanks for watching, kids. Can I also interject and ask you about how you've been this week?
Yeah, so I had quite a busy working week last week. Had some sort of... Well, I'm quite into running, cycling, so I had a friend sort of do in the storm. We went for a cycle in the storm, which was pretty well. I've never done that before. I did get some GoPro footage. I always try and take that on the bike now, because you never know what you're going to pass. But yeah, even being in a storm just sort of gave me these ideas to imagine shooting something when the weather outside is just mental and you're trying to make a disaster movie. But no, on the whole, been okay. Obviously, we're all kind of experiencing a bit of isolation, but I feel like cracking on with some work and side projects just kind of helps you focus. And having this on the side is a nice little bit of focus to look forward to, I think.
Oh, 100%. It's been keeping me going lately, so
yeah.
Thank you very much for that.
And even just like this aside, even if we were doing this privately, this would be awesome.
Yeah, 100%. Like I always find that when we have a chat or we have a FaceTime or whatever, I always feel like, oh, let's crack on with doing something, because you're very good at kind of like, you're very proactive, and I'm a lazy fuck. So it's kind of
I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, I would.
I'm easy to not be proactive, but talking to you kind of brings it back to the surface. And I think actually meeting you has helped me kind of talk a bit more openly, probably. Like we used to chat about stuff going on in our lives, like mental health, that kind of stuff. And I feel like that before I met you, maybe I didn't do that as much. So I think you've helped me just do that a bit more openly as opposed to keep stuff inside.
Oh wow, that's a massive compliment. Thank you.
So when we talk now, I don't know. I feel like it's in a weird way therapy.
Yeah, it is. No, honestly, I feel the exact same way.
Because
when
I know I can talk to you.
Go on, sorry.
I was gonna say, I know we can talk to each other. We both listen, and then we sort of talk about other stuff that we're sort of excited about and projects and that, and then the other stuff kind of goes backwards, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does.
Oh man, well, I think it's a good place to end it. But it's been so much fun yet again, and I literally can't wait till next week.
No, honestly, we don't know when next week, but I'm sure it'll be sometime.
We'll work it out.
But I'll message you, or you message me when you've had an idea and you started filming, because that will probably give the other person a bit of nudge again.
Yeah, let's do that. Keep in communication about that.
Awesome. All right. See you guys later.
Bye, guys.